I don't fully understand. Here's like my demon intuition. I don't fully understand the many worlds thing. Even when I went to go consume it, like it just falls out the back of my head because I haven't connected it to any NIs that I already know. It has to do with them studying the atoms, and then when you look at you would observe the atoms, they like change their, I don't even know if it's atoms, like something gets changed when you look at it. I don't understand it.
This is what I feel like the universe is.
That's so true.
Right.
You have talked about that before.
Yeah.
Just like a bowl of bubbles.
I do feel like that's going to be the end game.
Knocking into each other.
There's your universe right there,
Right.
dum-dum. Oh, there's
Right.
all your problems.
Right. And you're calm because you've connected that to a known concept. Bubbles, connect it to a known concept.
And I don't care that, we'll never know in our lifetime scientifically, sensor-wise.
Right.
Yeah, who cares?
Right. One of these two people is going to be very calm and comfortable in the world of the unknown.
See if you can guess which one it is.
Okay, so hit us with this many worlds theory.
Okay, so Hugh Everett, who was a graduate student when he invented this idea in the 1950s, said, look, when you measure that electron, what happens physically? Like, forget about you're a person, you're conscious, all of that BS. Like, you're a physical system, you obey the Schrodinger equation. You are a quantum mechanical system, you obey the laws of physics. So you look at the electron, your wave function changes. It used to be you're just a person doing whatever you do, but then after you look at the electron, you become entangled with it. And it splits. So there is one part of the wave function that says the electron was spinning clockwise and you measured it spinning clockwise. And there's another part of the wave function that says the electron was spinning counterclockwise and you saw it spinning counterclockwise. Now, everybody knows this. Like that far, it's not controversial at all. That's clearly the prediction of the equations of quantum mechanics.
So you could probably study that, get the sensory on that, and you're not going to be that confused by
No
it.
big deal.
But everyone else said, well, that means that I'm some weird combination of I saw it spinning one way and I saw it spinning the other way, but I've never felt that way. When I look at real electrons, I see them one way or the other. That can't be right. That can't be the final answer. The wave function must somehow collapse. And Everett said, no, what you're missing is there's now two separate worlds. Both of those part of the wave function are real, but they're different worlds. They will never interact with each other again. What happens in one part of the wave function will not affect what happens in the other part. So now there's a version of you that saw the electron spinning clockwise, and there's another version of you that saw it spinning counterclockwise. And that's just taking seriously the prediction of quantum mechanics. It's not adding any extra stuff, any extra worlds, anything like that.
That is the part where my brain broke.
All right.
The idea that there's a you that observes it going clockwise and a you that observes it going in a different direction, like that is so hard to understand. Do you apply this in your regular life? Like, do you think, like when you go home and you say hi to your wife and you open up the refrigerator, do you think of yourself as this quantum being that's existing in this super state?
And look, that's a perfectly good question. It's a very respectable question because it is, many worlds, it's not crazy or weird or bizarre, but it's certainly very, very far away from our everyday experience, right?
And what you're pointing out is like the calmness of the intuitive guy here.
Save your energy.
So we measure this one little thing, and then here's all the guesses off of that.
Guesses.
And SE Joe Rogan is like, wait a minute. I don't fully understand that.
I have these equations. They are really, really good at fitting what I do observe in the world and making predictions. I can build a Large Hadron Collider, et cetera. I will take them seriously even for things that I can't directly observe because they're the best equations I have, right? Until a better set of equations come along, I will believe these equations. And the implication of that is, there's a whole bunch of worlds, like a huge number, like a real, humongously, unimaginably big number, maybe an infinite number, maybe finite, we don't know, of different copies of you, and they're being created all the time. The good news is that it doesn't really affect how you go through life. It doesn't really imply that you should behave any differently than you would if you just lived in one world.
But do you think of each choice that you make possibly changing everything about the world that you exist in? How are you looking at it? You know what I'm saying? Because you are a guy who probably understands it as good as anybody that's alive. So as weird as this stuff sounds, to me it sounds like it's almost impossible for me to comprehend. So I'm trying to filter it through your understanding of it.
Well, I think that...
Take his jacket off. We're getting serious.
I know, it's getting hot in here. Like, physics is heating us up. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to say it the best. It doesn't change who you are. It's certainly not true that you making a decision is what branches the wave function of the universe. I guess that's the right thing to say.
Good, because I want to stop all woo.
Oh, so from that one little sensor, we could guess that this is happening at scale.
Yes.
Anyways, because this is now probably happening at scale, here's those ramifications. So just the intuitive is this,
yes,
and the sensory is this, like the function bubbles. One is way bigger.
Right.
So I'm relating to Joe. So the more I've had to use my sensory, because I'll find myself yelling at you over sensory things of hey, I need the sensory to be clear. Like for example, when it comes to house construction. There's the first part of the conversations where everything's great, where it's all theory. oh, we're gonna like knock
Oh, I
that wall
know.
down and we're gonna do this and that's how it works.
Hypothetical land.
So when it comes to the hypothetical, I'm all good. I
Yeah,
love it.
totally.
We could talk fake land all day. Then when you're at fucking Home Depot and you have the PVC pipe that doesn't have the label on it,
God.
and they gotta look it up, and the guy's like, okay, is it 3.649 or 2.46? You're like, oh my God, I should have taken a picture of the thing. So I had the exact sensory. And there's that frustration of like, I need the exact sensory.
Right.
It has to be perfect. I don't need to guesstimate, do I have the right pipe or not? It
Right.
has to be the exact.
Right.
So I'm like trying to like pull from that feeling
Yes.
that if you're like in a conversation, you're like, I need this to be done. I need this to be complete.
Right, because if you're responsible for the sensory, which you would be in that moment, like Joe here is like, look, Dick, I actually have to be accountable to say this later. I'm going to get laughed at as somebody that respects the sensory, that respects what is. I'm going to pay for this if I'm like, anyways, two worlds, and that's what he's feeling.
So if you're Savior SE, like say
Or
with Joe,
multiple worlds.
or Savior Sensory, you're going to be like, there's other people that also respect sensory, that when I take this, they're going to be browbeating me.
Yes.
Saying, I don't understand, explain it to me the sensory, and I need to be
Yes.
ready for that.
Right. I gotta be. I'm responsible to not just make up shit in the woo.
Right.
Because if I say this and it doesn't come out to be true, this is why the Savior Sensories hate being inaccurate on things. Like if I say this and it isn't true, I look like an ass because I didn't look for the
But
proof
these like
to back this up.
astrophysicist scientists are just like, I'm in a think tank. I just come up with
Right.
crazy bullshit. Maybe it works out
Right.
in 10 lifetimes from now. You'll never catch
You'll
me.
never catch me. But see, if I didn't do this, we wouldn't actually discover the unknowable. So if you are Savior Intuition, you would be more comfortable in that realm. I mean, they're doing this
Right.
all day. This isn't something that you jump into in college, read a book from some other guy that
Right.
does the guessing. It's like, who's the one doing the guessing?
Who's putting their ass on the line
When you
guessing?
need to go figure out about astrophysicism or quantum mechanics or quantum blah, 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 are you going to go search Google for it and get the knowable
Right.
and just download as much
Or are
knowable?
you sitting there making the
making
damn
the guesses.
guesses?
Yeah, absolutely.